Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the NYOS School Board. Today is July 14th, 2026. We have a quorum. The meeting is called to order at 6:02 p.m. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. I would like to offer a special welcome to our guests. Thank you for joining. You are invited to address the board during public comment portion of the agenda. However, we do ask that you sign up to do so. The online link is now closed, but if you would still like to sign up, you may sign up with Jackie. Board members, you have access to the board packet on the board drive. As a reminder, any board member can take anything from consent agenda to the regular board agenda. And first order of business is we have new board members. Y'all. Yay. We have, first, I want to introduce our new student member, Gio. Is that right, Mark? Or maybe you can, I don't know her last name. So.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I just sent y'all the email. Giovanni, is it Irakife? Is that close? Irakife, who was elected at the end of last year to be the Vice President of Student Council and will be in 11th grade this year. And so Gio has agreed to be our 11th grade rep. Thank you so much for being here, Gio.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Welcome, Gio, and Camp, welcome back. So great to see you. We do have a secondary parent, Andrea Vega. So welcome. Good. Yeah. Thank you for being here. We also have a community member, Bob Kahn, who was unable to make it tonight, but he said that all the other meetings are on his calendar, so he'll be here. And then Ruby Reyes, who is an elementary parent member. She is not here, but tonight I realized is elementary Meet the Teacher night, so she may come in a little later. Okay, next we will approve the regular agenda for their meeting. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? I don't think so. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the regular agenda as presented.
So motion.
Okay, Sharon, do I have a second? Ben, second. All in favor? Okay. David, you too?
I'm just going to excuse myself because I was talking to
Okay. Okay. Motion passes with David abstain. Okay, guys, next on the agenda is our code of ethics. You all should have one in front of you. If you don't have one, let me know. We are going to read this together, as we do every year. Do we all have it? Okay. Okay, let's read this as a group, starting from the top. As a member of the board, I shall promote the best interest of NYOS as a whole, and to that end shall adhere to the following ethical standards. I will be fair, just, and impartial in all my decisions and actions. I will accord others the respect I wish for myself. I will encourage expressions of different opinions and listen with an open mind to others' ideas. I will be accountable to the public by representing district policies, programs, priorities, and progress accurately. I will be responsive to the community by seeking its involvement in district affairs and by communicating its priorities and concerns. I will work to ensure prudent and accountable use of district resources. I will make no personal promise or take private action that may compromise my performance or my responsibilities. I will tell the truth. I will share my views while working from consensus. I will respect the majority decisions as the decision of the board. I will base my decision on fact rather than supposition, opinion, or public favor. I will recognize that I have no individual authority, and I will refrain from directing or engaging the executive director, faculty, staff, parents, or students with the authority of the board. I will consistently uphold all applicable laws, rules, policies, and governance procedures. I will not disclose information that is confidential by law or that will needlessly harm NYOS if disclosed. I will focus my attention on fulfilling the board's responsibilities of goal setting, policy making, oversight, and evaluation. I will diligently prepare for and attend board meetings. I will avoid personal involvement in activities the board has delegated to the executive director. I will seek continuing education that will enhance my ability to fulfill my duties effectively. I will be continuously guided by what is best for all students of NYOS. Okay, guys, thank you. Don't forget to sign and give this back to Jackie. Okay, next item is to improve the consent agenda, which includes our June minutes, committee reports, and contracts under 50,000. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Ally, do I have a second? Sharon, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, next item is our public comment. I don't think we do not have any public commenters tonight. On our agenda, though, you'll see that we have 2 public comments. The second one is for a hearing for the FY 2027 Title I Program ESSA grant application and use of federal funds. NYOS Charter School is applying for 2027 ESSA or ESSA, I'm not sure how to, funding. These federal funds support instructional programs, targeted interventions, professional development for teachers and administrators, and family engagement activities designed to improve student achievement. At this time, we will open the floor for public comment related specifically for the FY 2027 Title I program and ESSA grant application. Do we have any public comments for that? Okay. No? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, then we can move on to new business. First order is discuss and vote on contracts over 50,000. Board members, you'll see that we have 2 on there. We'll vote on them separately. The first one is Dahl's Security. So Matthew, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, so our first contract that's over 50,000 is for Dell Security. This was an RFP awarded contract that we did last year. This is our second year to renew the contract. They did not do a price increase, so it's the same pricing that was offered last year. And we have 2 more years that we can continue with them under the same RFP, or we can choose at any time to do another RFP to look for another security vendor. And so at this time, we're going to request that the board renew the contract for our armed security guard.
Any questions for Matthew on this? Okay, do I have a motion to approve this contract? Okay, David, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ben, second?
I got Ben.
Ben. Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Unanimous. The next item is the DSS Consulting Group. Matthew?
Yeah, so the second one, also an RFP awarded contract. This is our 3rd year to renew, I believe. That's on, is that correct? I think that's what we talked about. And so we'd like to continue with DSS. DSS offers our kind of our CFO responsibilities, as well as back office support to our accounting finance department that we have internal. They did not do a price increase, so it is staying the same pricing that it was for this school year, this prior school year. And so, yeah, we would like to ask the board to renew that contract as well.
Can you speak to financially how it works out for positions that this contract has kind of taken the place of?
Yeah, so this, the contract amount actually, and the contract itself takes place of the Director of Finance that NYOS used to have. We had a lot of turnover within that position, and for consistency purposes, we reached out to DSS to offer that scope of work. So for the same amount that we were paying for Director of Finance with salary and benefits, we're paying for this contract with DSS, which also includes, basically we get 3 people for the price of 1, because we get 2 CFOs, which is James Dworkin and Diane Mooney, which you've seen a lot of. And then there's a back office support that works directly with Fidelia to do our bank reconciliations and do kind of our verification checks, Nikki Taylor. And so, did that answer your question? Okay.
And then Matthew, can you remind me of how we, does DSS go for RFP, or how does that, do we do that every year, or is?
We do not do it every year. An RFP awarded contract is anything that's over 50,000, and we have it in our verbiage where we can continue to renew in a 4-year period if the services remain what NYOS needs. And so this coming year will begin the RFP process for if we continue to outsource. I do want to put it that way. If we want to continue to outsource the CFO responsibilities, then this year would be an RFP year to select a new vendor, or we could continue at DSS if they choose to bid. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Matthew on DSS? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept this contract? Okay, Hassan? Do I have a second? Ben? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item is our handbook. Discuss and vote on 26-27 student parent handbook with the incorporation of the student code of conduct. Matthew, is that you or?
Yeah, I'll talk to it.
Okay.
So our admin team spent a lot of time working on the student parent handbook. The biggest change was the incorporation of the code of conduct. So that way all of our families have one document to go to versus having multiple documents as it has been before. In the board packet, we gave you the high-level changes. There weren't really a lot other than the code of ethics being included in the handbook. And then Misty is also here to answer any specific questions that you have. But a majority of the changes were just kind of removing, after we incorporated the code of ethics, there was a lot of repeat language. So we did work on removing some of that. We did kind of clarify some language, but overall changes, there weren't that many.
Questions from the board on the handbook?
And the high-level changes have everything that was adjusted.
Okay.
Matthew, I was reading through this over the last couple days, and I like everything that's in here. The changes, I've started with the high-level changes. It's still a draft, and I wanted to just get a sense that there'd be some attention paid to some of the formatting, cleaning it, making it easier to read, new sections start on a new page, which seem like nitpicky, simple things, I know, but I do think it matters because it's a really important document that drives pretty much everything we do here. And so just with that commitment, other than that, I agree with the content. I think it's done well.
Yeah, we will be doing a lot of that work on the back end when we take it out draft, not making any other changes to it, but just making sure the table of contents works correctly and that all the headings are there and that it is formatted correctly.
Because this goes on our website, right?
It does.
Okay. And then also ensuring that all the board members are
Correct.
included in there.
On the live document, Jackie's been updating them real time.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the student parent handbook? Allie? Do I have a second? Sharon, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimously. That's a high hand. You're excited about that, then. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the interim executive director update.
Okay. All right, good evening. So I do have a couple of things that I want to talk through. Since our last board meeting, we did hold our annual new hire orientation, where we actually welcomed 27 new employees and 3 returning to our NYOS community. The 3 that are returning are in the bold that you see on the screen. So Mr. Samard returned to NYOS, Ms. Mason, and also, of course, our elementary principal, Ms. Garcia. So I also encourage everyone, if you haven't already looked at our NYOS Facebook page, we've been doing a big campaign to introduce the new staff members and kind of their experience and their NYOS. So if you have not yet taken a look at that, I highly encourage that. I'm also happy to announce that we've made some internal promotions. So Ms. Suarez, which I see walking around out there, is one of those. Come on, Shelby. So our new instructional coach, so Shelby Suarez, welcome. Good timing. Miss Sanderson, which I know a lot of you know, she has been our receptionist. She's been an admin assistant for a lot of years at NYOS. She was an educational assistant, and she has now moved into our district office as our purchasing coordinator. Yara Martinez, she was also an admin assistant. She's been a NYOS family member for a long time. She is joining us as our operations and safety coordinator. Ms. Stanall moved from being an interventionist to instructional coach in our elementary program. Ms. Martinez is moving into a marketing and communication manager role versus a coordinator role. And then, of course, Ms. Nikita Pierce has moved from our classroom to a CCMR counselor. So we're very happy to announce these promotions. As an entire organization, we got to meet together and do our annual convocation, which we celebrate at the beginning of the year. We had some great food, we had some good music, and an opportunity for staff to kind of reconnect after their summer and meet the new staff that are joining the NYOS team. It also marked my first opportunity to kind of address the staff as the interim executive director of NYOS. And I got to share a little bit of my own journey of NYOS and reflected on how this organization has shaped me as a person and as a leader over the past 7 years. And more importantly, I got to share my belief that leadership is about giving back to the people who have invested so much in our students and into one another. We also got to introduce our new theme, which is our Blueprint to Excellence, as a continuation of last year's Make Your Mark. Make Your Mark reminded us that every staff has the opportunity to positively impact students in our school community. And a Blueprint to Excellence challenges us to intentionally build upon that foundation. Just as every blueprint depends on every line and every detail, excellence at NYOS is built through the collective efforts of staff working together in the service of our students. I do want to call out, I've made some changes to kind of how we're presenting information to make it a little easier to understand, if you will. So this is a new slide for our organizational health, and it's color-coded, where green is in compliance, yellow is monitoring, and red is attention needed. And so a couple of items are listed as yellow because we are monitoring, because we're below where we should be for staff and for our students. So currently we have 206 full-time positions out of 222. So we still have 16 vacancies, with 3 of those being core classroom roles, 3 special education teacher roles, and then the rest being kind of district staff and other administrative positions, including educational assistants. And so our recruiting department is strongly focused on these positions, and we're actually working closely with some sourcing agencies to help fill these positions. And then HR is working really closely with the administrative team to ensure that we have good long-term subs in those positions until we can fill those. I do want to call out that all staff retention, so this is retention just looking at from May to July. So staff that were with us at the last day of school who returned for the first day of staff returning, July 8th. We were at 81%, and I do want to highlight that we did have some organizational structure changes. I sent out an email to all staff about how we're moving from nighttime custodial cleaning to contracted services, and so that's also reflected in that. If we were to take that out, all staff retention was about 84%, and teacher retention was at 85%, compared to 88% last year for all staff and 87% for teachers. So we did see a decrease in that.
Matthew, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this because I can just see and look, but, and school's about to start, right? So,
Correct.
I know we have strategies, and I'm sure we've learned from years before on the kids that don't show up, like that we think that are coming and they're
Correct.
not.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to point out that we will, and ask you how well we'll be monitoring that.
Yes, and I actually will do a retention report at the next board meeting because we'll know exactly how many people will return as of the 21st. And so at this time, we do have 1,870 students that are enrolled, which is actually our budgeted goal. Our full goal is 1,915, so we're about 45 students away from that goal. Out of that 1,870, we do have 1,618 students returning to NYOS. So that's really good. But again, I'll have retention numbers at the next board meeting. That's why right now it shows NA, and attendance is NA. So we'll have those to report on the August board meeting. And then finance, I have it listed as green. We have done the budget implementation. So of course, July 1st was the new fiscal year, so our budget took effect on July 1st. It's been implemented into Skyward, and what that means is that budget owners can actually see what their budget is in Skyward real time. So if I'm putting in a purchase order or doing an invoice, I'm seeing what the line item detail is and how much I'm spending and how that number is coming down, so that everyone in the organization can see real time what their budget is. And then safety. So earlier I mentioned in my update that Yara Martinez has moved into an operations and safety coordinator role. Part of her role is ensuring that NYOS is compliant with Texas school safety requirements and helping to strengthen our campus safety programs. She'll be working closely with principals and myself to ensure that we remain compliant each school year. Any questions on?
On the teacher side, the delta between 85% retention versus 88%, is it one or two teachers?
I will have to get that. I don't have it off the top of my head at that detail.
I mean, but I'm just trying to make the point that it's not
Yeah.
a bunch of people that didn't return, right?
Yeah.
Within the 206, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
Rosa leaving, right?
Yeah.
One of them.
She's one of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Retirements happening.
Yeah. Retirements, and then we have a lot of staff that are pursuing higher education. We have a lot of staff that have relocated to different states. We've had a lot of long-term staff leave to move to different states. So, you're welcome.
Just out of
Yeah.
curiosity, with the vacancies in
Mhm.
teaching, are any of those vacancies presenting a particular risk over others? Or do we still feel like we have most of everything covered for lower school and high school, but just being understaffed? Are there
Special education is always one of the hardest ones. That we do have 3 vacancies in those. 2 of them being in elementary and 1 of them being in secondary. Our core classroom teachers, we have 2 in secondary and 1 in elementary. Right now, we do have a lot of long-term guest teachers that have worked with NYOS for a very long time. And we have placed a lot of those in those positions or working to fill those temporarily. The sourcing agency that we're using specializes in special education, and so we're really hoping that they can help us close that gap very soon or shortly after the school year starts. You're welcome. Behind the scenes, so I want to give some good updates. Our operations team is been working really hard this summer. I know a lot of people say our NYOS summer is very short, but this year I actually got to live it from the operations side, and it is extremely short. You really only have 4 weeks to get a lot of projects completed. One of the major projects that we had taken on was the rebuilding of the ramp between Building C and Building D, which kind of closes that gap between the retention pond area. It was not very structurally sound, and so it's been completely torn down and rebuilt. We've had some supply chain issues, so it's taking a little longer than we expected, but they've been working on the railing, and it should be completely completed before the end of this week. In a prior meeting, I talked about mold remediation, so we did have some visible mold in one of the classrooms in Building A, and then once we got someone out to do the testing, we determined that there was 3 classes total that were impacted, 2 of them being right next door, and then 1 being on the other side of the hallway. The mold remediation has been completed, which means they've taken out every part that had any type of mold exposure. The building has been tested, it has passed, and so reconstruction has begun. They actually started yesterday, worked until 10 p.m. to try to get the classrooms rebuilt. It's scheduled to be completed by the end of this week, but I believe at this rate we'll probably have it done before. And then, of course, the playground, elementary, in front of Building 1, we started to do a playground project last. Contractor that was working on it has decided not to continue on the project, and so we were able to get a new contractor out and finish the playground. And so I have that pictured there in the upper right corner. So we have a new slide, and we have swing sets in front of Building 1. So that was completed as part of the project last year. And then the picture that I have there at the bottom, I don't know if between Building C and D, there was this big, tall privacy fence. And we decided to take that down and open it up and put a fencing that's very similar to the rest of the campus. So it kind of opens up that space, and it's not as dark when you're walking through there, because you had a fence on one side that's really tall, and you had bushes that are really tall on the other side.
Can I speak to something real quick?
Yes.
I wanted to give a kudos because I heard multiple people this week talk about who were new to NYOS employees saying like, I can't believe IT got me that charger so fast. I cannot believe maintenance got that done, in 2 hours. And that it really speaks to the hard work of this group and everyone that the teachers, it makes our life easier because they are so attentive. And so thank you from the teachers.
Thank you. Yeah, the operations team, it seems like a large team. There's only really 2.5 people, and the half being also groundskeeper. And then, of course, our IT team is the team of 2 that you see up there at the top. And so, yeah, I really, really appreciate that. I do want to give a special shout out to Benjamin Hefner, who's the son of one of a longtime teacher of NYOS, Melissa Hefner. He had actually undertaken an entire Eagle Scout project to create a seating area for secondary. And so what you're seeing here is actually, if you're standing on the outside of Building A by the cafeteria looking towards Lamar, this is that back fence area that you see, which has now been converted into kind of a seating area with some big boulders for natural seating, some benches that were built, and some plants. And then they have covered the fence with planking so that there is privacy from the Lamar side of the street. And so, yeah, Ben has actually gone and had meetings with Ms. Edwards and myself, really pitched this program, met with PTA and got it fully funded. The PTA had fully funded the project, has been organizing volunteers and getting a lot of the work done, and it looks absolutely beautiful. And so we hope our secondary students will really enjoy having that area there coming into the new school year. And then the plan is to continue that project through that entire area. And I'll have another update in kind of what we're going to maybe do in that area later on. Looking ahead, so arrival and dismissal. So I do want to give a quick update that the first few days we are going to hire constables to be present to help with, we know like the first few days there's a lot of traffic that's coming through. And so we'll have constables here to help just be present, help with traffic. So don't be alarmed if you see police cars or things like that in or around the campus. And so it's just to help make sure that we have a smooth transition for the first few days of the school year. Another thing that I want to talk about, kind of give an update, no decision has been made on this, so I'm just giving an update. That over the past real school year, I've been meeting a lot with the Park Association and all of our neighboring businesses to really kind of get to a happy medium on how we can be really good neighbors. We have a lot of parents, staff, students that use the surrounding businesses, parking spaces, and things like that. Even to the point where we tried to lease parking spaces from surrounding businesses to allow parents and everyone to park without fear of being towed or getting any type of fines or any type of conflicts. Unfortunately, that has not gone extremely well. A lot of the surrounding businesses have been upset with kind of how spacing has been used, and so we have not been able to come to a mutual understanding.
Can you, like, so we're the local school.
Mhm.
We're the happy-go-lucky folks. We're everybody's good neighbor. When you went to talk to the other business, like what was it like? Like, how did they respond? I mean, how are those conversations going? Like, simplest words possible.
I mean, it's a respectful meeting, right?
Right.
There's been one company we met with in person. We met actually at the gate and like actually had a conversation as dismissal was happening to kind of get an understanding of like, this is really just kind of a temporary, it's like 1 hour, you know, maybe 2 hours a day. But I think overall, it's just been how things have been met that's kind of been upsetting. The Park Association is kind of Switzerland. They really want to be neutral. They really want to make sure all the businesses surrounding the park are happy. But they also understand now that they have completely removed themselves from the process and are no longer having discussions with any of the surrounding businesses. And so a lot of the conversation that has been brought up is the gate. And having the gate open is a perception that NYOS is saying it's okay for people to park here or use these spaces or come through this. And so the strong request from all the surrounding businesses is that we lock the gate. And so that is something that we do have to look at. I do want to speak to our legal department. I do want to talk to our Family Leadership Council and kind of see what is a good solution moving forward. I do have another meeting, hopefully this week, with another one of the neighboring businesses to kind of close the gap. My main concern is safety and security, right? We've all sat here and listened to a lot of public comment about how people feel unsafe using Indian Mound Drive, or that there's been a lot of conflict with surrounding businesses, and there's these, we're gonna have tow trucks here and things like that. And the last thing I want to hear is that somebody got injured or their vehicle got towed. And so I think that's something we do have to strongly consider.
And as far as the communication, right, Meet the Teacher is this week. So are we communicating, go through the drive line? Is that like our main communication? Like the back is not an option as far as the school is saying,
Correct.
right? Okay.
That's a decision we have to make. It's
Okay.
not a decision that has been made. But if it is, like I'm hoping the surrounding businesses will give grace as we do like a transitionary period. I don't want to just rip the Band-Aid off and say you can't use the gate anymore. Good luck. I want to be able to kind of look at what the great thing is like our arrival window is very long, right? So like drop off, there's a long time period, so it could help. We could look at staggering. There's a lot of things that we can do to help. And we just need to vet through all that process, but I don't want the surrounding businesses towing vehicles on the first day of school. And so I'm hoping we can kind of talk through that. And so that meeting is going to happen this week. But if we do decide that that's something we have to do, there'll be a major communication plan that'll go out. We'll make sure it's very clear, concise, and fully communicated. But like I said, right now, there's no decision made. We're not saying that the gate's going to be locked. Right now, we're going to continue as we have been until we get all aspects, like all sides of the conversation. Any other questions? Okay. So the next thing looking ahead is our events. So Meet the Teacher Night is happening right now in elementary. We do have secondary 9 through 12 that's happening on Wednesday, and then middle school and pre-K is happening on Thursday. I had the locations listed up there. It's also on our website. We have a great opportunity to welcome some prospective families to NYOS through our open house, which will happen on the 30th. And then, of course, our second annual bingo night, so mark it on your calendars. It's a great time to play some games and get to know some family. Last year, we had people from the community show up that didn't even have kids. They just saw that it was bingo night, and they wanted to join and see what the school was about. They're new to the neighborhood. So it was really great to get to know them a little bit. And then I want to kind of touch on some of the fundraising projects that we have planned to kind of enhance the NYOS experience. So one of the things we would love to do is put an LED marquee in front of the school to strengthen like communications and do student highlights and celebrations and things like that. It's been something that's been discussed for years, but we would like to make that happen. And then a second vision that we have is actually converting the NYOS bus into a secondary library and putting that next to Building A, kind of in that newly developed area. But we've heard a lot that secondary would really love a library, and then during a meeting with some of the PTA members, they mentioned like you should really convert the bus to do that. Just so you know, the bus, in order for us to use it, we will have to, in a couple of years, add seat belts, which is very costly. And so instead of getting rid of the bus, this could be another great way to keep it within the community and be able to use it. And that's all that I have.
Any questions for Matthew? No, that was great update, Matthew. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to committee business. First is our Financial Oversight Committee.
Yes, thanks. So we don't have a budget update. Obviously, the budget got approved and new school year's in effect, but we haven't closed June yet, so we'll have a budget update next board meeting. We do have an update on our refinancing, which was complete, and we also got a line of credit that can help us if we need to, get a bridge loan to help with the daily cash on hand or other circumstances, and that's about it.
Okay, thank you for that. Next on our agenda is Fundraising Committee, and I think we, bingo, right? Keep your friends close and your bingo card closer. I think that'll be fun. I wasn't able to go last year, so I look forward to attending on August 7th. Next, I have the
Can I just add for the bingo thing?
Oh, yeah.
I just want families to know that Student Council and Taffy will be providing childcare services that night.
Nice.
So families, if you got kids, you can bring them and still
That's
participate.
good. Is that, I'm hoping that will be on our communications, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it already has been.
Oh,
And
okay.
will continue to be. I just want people to know.
Oh, that's great. Okay, next item is our Governance Committee. We will tonight be discussing and voting on board officers. So as part of our agenda, we'll hold our board officer elections for the 26-27 school year. The positions we will elect are chair, vice chair, secretary, and parliamentarian. Each position will be for a one-year term in accordance with our bylaws. So I will begin by opening the floor for nominations for the role of chair. Okay, Ally nominated Ben for chair, and we already have a second from Sharon. All in favor? Okay, that's a unanimous vote. Except Ben, he abstained.
So I need to write that everybody abstains from their own vote?
Yeah,
Okay.
so Ben abstained. Everyone else approved. So congratulations, Ben, our new chair for 26-27. Okay, we'll move on to vice chair. Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
I think Hassan would make an excellent vice chair. And I nominate Hassan, if he'll accept it, to be the vice chair for 26-27.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, we'll have David second. All in favor? Okay, looks like we have a new vice chair. Congratulations, Hassan. Next, we will move on to, and Hassan abstained. Secretary. Do we have nominations for secretary?
I nominate Sarah.
Oh, Hassan. Okay, we already have a
No one wants the job.
we have a motion and a second for Sarah. All in favor? Okay, unanimous vote, Sarah. Congratulations.
myself.
Well, yeah. Okay, and our last officer position is for parliamentarian. Do we have any nominations?
See if we can work this down. Yeah, I'd like to nominate Sharon for parliamentarian.
Okay, we have a nomination. Do we have a second?
I'll second the nomination for Sharon as parliamentarian. She'd make a great parliamentarian.
Okay, we'll have Ben. Okay, all in favor for Sharon as parliamentarian? Okay, congratulations, Sharon. We have new board officers, so congrats to all of you. I look forward to the next school year with you guys in charge. Okay, next item is our board committee. So I did put in the packet board committees. We do have a bigger board, I think, that we've ever had since I've been on the board. Usually, I think most of you are in about 3 committees, so we'll kind of look and see. We'll likely choose about 2 or 3. So I'll send out a form to state the ones that you prefer, and then we'll have a committee list for the upcoming year. So that will go out soon because committees are already starting, and we need to get up to date on that. So there's a packet that says all the committees and what they do and all the things. We also have you guys should also have a conflict of interest form on your desk. And so this is part of your names filled out, NYOS, and if you have any conflict of interest, that should go on the form, and then you'll sign it, and then at the bottom you'll put the information requested, the date, the address is already on there, and then these will go on the website for any conflicts. Now, if you answer no today and you have any conflicts later on in the year, please be sure to get with administrative staff so we can update this form. Okay. Next item is our Leadership Transition Committee. So the committee continues to meet every week. We are making good progress on the executive director search. We're currently scheduling our second round interviews, which will take place later this month. We're still working a little bit on logistics, on the timing and when, but we are working on that. At our last meeting, I also shared that we held a teacher and staff forum. It was well attended. We didn't have a lot of questions necessarily. I think Mark did the presentation. There were a few questions, but it was well attended considering staff and teachers were on summer break, so that was really good. Our next community engagement opportunity will be a public webinar on Wednesday, July 29th at 6 p.m. That will be online. I was working with staff today on communications, so that will be sent out to families this week. We should also have some flyers out during the Meet the Teacher, so there should be some flyers already out there. And then the Family Leadership Council is helping us with that. So we met with them to kind of discuss what the presentation will look like, but we are looking forward to sharing some of the survey results and how that is informing the committee on how we're reviewing our applicants, interview questions, things like that. So, and we're happy to answer any questions on the process of the new executive director search. I think that's all, unless anyone has any other updates.
Just wanted to reiterate, we shared that folder with the other board members, so everybody should have access to look at who all the candidates are, interview questions, the forms that each of us filled out that were on the initial interviews. All those things are in a folder, so get with Nina or Ben if you don't have access, you want more information. Homework.
Yeah, yep. Okay, that's all I have on that, and I believe we're at the end of our agenda for tonight. Agenda items for next meeting. I didn't write anything down necessarily, but I was thinking we do need to discuss at the next meeting our board training dates. We usually do that around October. So we can discuss that and maybe have the officers discuss a little bit on what are the best times to do that. And that's all I have. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Sharon and David seconds. All in favor? Unanimous vote to adjourn at 6:48 p.m. Thanks, y'all.